thousands of times a day, your eyelids snap shut and pull back open. The blink isn't an involuntary twitch. It executes a high-precision maintenance routine. The cornea, the clear dome at the front of the eye, is largely assumed to be the first structure that incoming light hits. But the cornea is entirely covered by the tear film, making that microscopic layer of fluid the true primary refractive element of the eye. This diagram illustrates a cross-section of the eye. Notice how light rays hit that distinct, brightly colored fluid layer first. Before an image reaches the pupil, it passes through this film, instantly bending the light to focus the visual world onto the retina. This creates a biological conflict. The eye is a wet organ, completely exposed to a harsh, dry environment. It is under constant stress, fighting a continuous battle against rapid evaporation. If the tears thin out or become microscopically uneven, the incoming light scatters before it can be focused. This creates a condition called irregular astigmatism, causing the vision to blur, typically accompanied by a sharp, physical burning sensation. To understand why our eyes feel dry and scratchy, we must examine the tear as a highly engineered, three-layered biological shield, a complex architecture that goes far beyond simple salt water. We start by plunging down to the microscopic surface of the cornea itself, establishing the bottom floor of our three-tiered structure. This diagram shows the microscopic corneal surface, covered in upward-pointing ridges called microvilli. Goblet cells secrete our first layer directly onto this landscape, the mucin layer. This sticky gel anchors to the ridges, filling gaps to create a perfectly flat foundation that binds water tightly. To test the structural integrity of this anchor, ophthalmologists perform a tear film breakup time test. They drop fluorescent dye onto the patient's eye and bathe the surface in a cobalt blue light, illuminating the mucin layer in real time. If the mucin layer is defective, the surface tension snaps. Stark, dark, dry spots tear open the glowing green fluid in under 10 seconds. Without this foundational sticky anchor, the entire tear film structurally collapses. The outer layers lose their grip on the eye, rendering them completely useless. Moving outward from the mucin anchor, we enter the second tier, the aqueous layer. This is the vast, watery ocean of the tear film, making up a massive 98% of its total thickness. Secreted by the lacrimal glands, this liquid serves two critical purposes. It physically washes away microscopic debris from the environment, and it feeds oxygen directly to the avascular cornea. Optically, this ocean acts as a liquid filler. It smooths out all remaining microscopic irregularities on the eye's surface, creating a perfectly flat, transparent lens for incoming light. But there is a delicate volumetric balance at play. The human eye can only hold about 8 microliters of this fluid at any given time. Doctors assess this capacity using meniscometry. In this schematic of the lower eyelid meeting the eyeball, we see a narrow, upward curve of fluid pooling directly at the intersection. This is the tear meniscus. Measuring its exact height helps clinicians evaluate aqueous deficiency. If this microscopic meniscus pool dries up, the eye physically starves. It loses both its oxygen supply and its optical smoothness in a matter of seconds. Finally, we reach the outermost boundary, the exact microscopic line where the eye meets the open atmosphere, the lipid layer. This ultra-thin barrier is meibum, a specialized oil secreted by the meibomian glands that line the rims of the upper and lower eyelids. This diagram shows the interaction. The thick blue aqueous ocean is constantly trying to evaporate, but the microscopic yellow boundary of lipids acts as an impenetrable waterproof lid. It deflects the vapor back down into the ocean. When these eyelid glands become blocked, the system fails. Instead of clear, running oil, they excrete thick, opaque secretions that behave like toothpaste. Without a healthy microscopic shield of oil sealing the surface, the volume of water the eye produces becomes irrelevant. The aqueous ocean simply evaporates into the atmosphere. The 3 anatomical layers operate in a tight chronological sequence, triggered by the fraction of a second it takes to blink. As the eyelid lifts, it physically pulls polar and non-polar lipids out of their glandular reservoirs. That shimmering oil is dragged outward and stretched perfectly across the surface of the underlying aqueous ocean. This brings us to a modern dilemma. When we stare at digital screens, our involuntary blink rate drops dramatically. When the blink rate drops, the mechanical sweep stops. Without the eyelid actively dragging out a fresh lipid layer, the oily shield fractures. Rapid evaporation sets in, and the optical surface degrades, scattering the incoming light. Successfully treating a dry eye requires maintaining the oils. Deliberate blinking exercises force the mechanical sweep to resume, and warm compresses physically melt the blockages inside the meibomian glands, actively preserving the eye's primary